All right, so on our example here, this talks about interested in the effects of practice on reaction time in a search task. And so we've got our A variable, which is going to be our minutes. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So we have 3 levels of the A variable. And we've got 2 levels of our B variable, which is males and females. Okay. Now, how you go about figuring out this in terms of numbers is all this is I've put these down here for you. And so it's 12 plus 13 plus 12 plus 11 plus 11. And you need to get the sum of the x and the mean for that. And remember on your calculator how to do that. Okay. So then what you want to do is you want to get them for each individual level. And then what happens is you can either, what I do is I put all of these in. So there's 5 up here and 5 down here, so 10. And you get a total sum of x for A1, which is 5 minutes. And the sum of the x's squared. So at some point you have to put all of these in so that you can get the sum of the x's squared. So do the same here. Put these 10 numbers in. Get your sum of the x's squared. These are where these numbers come from. Okay, put this and those gives us our sum of the x's squared. Then you're going to want to do this for the side as well. And so you get all of these together is the sum of the x and the mean for males. All of these together is the sum of the x and the mean for females. Okay, so we've got most of the things that we need. And we would set up our source table. So I've already filled the whole thing out, but what you would do is you start with your source table. And it's A, B, A by B, subjects nested in A, B, and the total. And the main thing you need to remember here is the degrees of freedom. So A minus 1, B minus 1, AB minus A minus B plus 1, ABS minus AB, and then ABS minus 1. Okay, and remember that comes back from here, our steps to ANOVA right here. All right. All right. So how many levels of A do I have? I have 3 levels of A. That's the time. So it's 3 levels of A. So 3 minus 1 is 2. We have 2 levels of B, which is our gender. So B minus 1 is 1, right? So 2 minus 1 is 1. Now, A times B. All right. So A, there's 3 levels of A. B, there's 2 levels, right? So 3 times 2, 6. Minus 3 is 3. Minus 2 more is 2. Plus 1. And now we got our 2. Okay. ABS. Our S value in this case is how many are in each level of the individual boxes. So here, our S value is 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our S, there's 5 in these individual boxes, okay? So you've got 10 levels of A, 10 in each level of A. You've got 15 in each level of B, and you've got 5 in each AB. So that becomes our S. So 6 times 5 is 30, minus 6 is 24, and then 6 times 5 is 30, minus 1 is 29. Okay, so this is our degrees of freedom. So the next thing we need to do is get our necessary terms. And according to this sheet, we do the same thing. It's all of the individual sum of x's in each level of A squared and divided by the total number in that level of A. So you go here and this is for the total of each level of A, 113 for the 5 minutes, 82 for the 10 minutes, and 61 for the 15 minutes. So you've got 113 squared plus 82 squared plus 61 squared divided by 10. Okay. And if you figure that out, it's 2321.40. Our levels of B, we want B regardless of anything out about A. So this is females, it's 145. Males is 111. And there were 15 in each level. So 145 squared plus 111 squared divided by 15 equals 2223.07. Okay. Now our AB is the individual things in the squares. So it's 59 plus 45 plus 41 plus 54 plus 37 plus 20. And each of those gets squared. So 59 squared plus 45 squared plus 41 squared plus 54 squared plus 37 squared plus 20 squared. And this is divided by 5. And the correct answer should be 2374.40. Our ABS term, very much like our AS term in a one-way, is just the sum of the x's squared together. So we've got 1, 2, 4, 5. Where does that come from? It comes from right here. Whoops. Is that 8, 5? 2, 4. 1, 2, 8, 5. 1, 2, 8, 5, 6, 9, 0, and 4, 2, 3 is 2398. Okay, that's our ABS. And then our one term is the sum of all the sum of the x's added up, which I've put right over here, is 256. Okay, so 256 squared divided by the total number of subjects is that, and that's 30. So we've got 2184.53. Okay. All right, so our sum of squares A relies on the degrees of freedom formulas. Okay, so A minus 1. So our A term was 2321.40, and our 1 term is 2184.53. So you've got 2184.53, 136.87, and that would be what you would put right here. Okay. All right, our sum of squares B is B minus 1. So our B value is 2223.07. The 1 value is 2184.53. And it's 38.54. And you put that in your source table. Okay. Your sum of squares AB is just like the degrees of freedom formula. Okay. AB minus A minus B plus 1. Okay. So our AB term, 2374.40, minus our A term, 2321.40, minus our B term, 2223.07, plus 1. And so I've got the 2374.4 minus 2321.40 minus 2223.07, and then we add back in the 2184.53. Notice somewhere around here it's going to go negative, but then it'll come back positive. And then you'll see that our sum of squares AB is 14.46. Our sum of squares error term, right, is ABS minus AB. So ABS 2398 minus 2374.40. And you've got 23.60, and that's our error term. And then the total is ABS minus 1, 2398 minus 2184.53. And so you get 213.47. Now, what's important to note is just like we did in the one way, the sum of all of these should add up to this. And it does, so we're correct to this point. Okay. Now we have to get our mean squares. Our mean squares, just like before, is our sum of squares divided by the degrees of freedom. So 136.87 divided by 2, 68.44. 38.54 divided by 1 is 38.54. 14.46 divided by 2, 7.23. And 23.60 divided by 24 is 0.98. And so those values are there. And I also put them down here. It's always good to have them all the way written out so you know where they came from. 68.44. 38.54, 7.23, and 0.98. Okay. Now we get our F's. Our F test, before when we did it, we only had the 1 and then our error term. Now we've got these 2 extra things. But what is similar is that we always divide our mean square by the error term to get our F. Okay. So we always divide the mean square by the error term to get our F. So 68.44 divided by 0.98 is 69.84. 38.54 divided by 0.98 is 39.33. And 7.23 divided by 0.98 is 7.38. All right, so then we have to get our critical values so that we know what, whether these are significant or not, okay? So we go the F crit for the A and the error term, the B and the error term, and again, the AB and the error term. So if you go up here with the degrees of freedom, it's going to be 2 and 24, 1 and 24, and 2 and 24, okay? Which I have listed here for you. All right, so we go into our F table. And when we've got numerator of 2 and a denominator of 24, alpha equals 0.05, and how this works up here, it says, find the table, the top value are shown in the top row, right? So 2 and 24, alpha equals 0.05, should be 3.4, and 1 and 24 is 4.26. So when you go back over here, you see I've got, oh, wrong thing, hold on, 2 for 24. 2 and 24 is 3.40 and 4.26. 3.40 and 4.26, and then 3.40 again. So all of these are above that. For A, 3.40, 69.84 is higher than that. The next one, 39.33, 4.26 is higher than that. And the 3.4 again, 7.38 is higher than that. Okay, so at this point, we have all of them being significant. Okay, and so we would asterisk that up in our source table here. All right, so you completed the F, but the F test is only a preliminary test. And just like in the one way, we need to do a subsequent test. So I will do a separate video on the subsequent test.